Johnny, whenever you're ready, mate, the floor is yours.
Hiya, Carlos. Afternoon. Team news, we'll start with as we usually do, Carlos. How's Alex Pritchard? Came off at half-time at the weekend. How's he?
Pritchard suffered one injury in the first half. He turned his ankle. Then he's going to make a scan today, and we will know what is the result of the scan. Hopefully, it doesn't be something very, very dangerous. I think he was feeling a little bit of improvement. So the ankle is not very doesn't have a lot of inflammation. So this is something positive, but we need to see the scan. And I think today, in the last time of today, we will know the result of this scan.
It sounds unlikely for tomorrow for him to be involved, though. Is that correct?
It's impossible that he can be tomorrow with the game.
Danny Ward as well. Am I still right in thinking that he won't be available this week? Are you going to wait until after the international break for Danny Ward?
Yes, with Danny Ward, he's going to start in the trainings. I think today we have the option that he start to make the first training with the group after the injury. So it's something very positive. And what we want with Danny is to use all the international break to make him ready to help the team.
That's fantastic news, though, that he's back with the group then. He must be delighted with that as well, because he'll have waited a long time for that.
Very positive, because for the players, the long-term injuries always are difficult to manage. And he has experience as a player. He knows that the injuries, we need to manage well the injuries. But of course, when the injury is taking more than the time that one player can expect, it's a hard time for the players. But now he's starting to watch the light, because he's close to the last part of his recovery, and he's going to train today with the group. So it's something very positive for him and for the group too.
Has Alex Vallejo been able to join the group as well today? Is his isolation over? Is he with you now?
Yes, Alex Vallejo started with the group yesterday because he finished his isolation period. He's going to, but yesterday we were working a little bit different, but today he's going to be the first team with the full squad.
That must be nice for him. He's been sat in a hotel room for 2 weeks, hasn't he, trying to get involved? So he must just be very relieved to be out there.
Of course, it's totally different for him, but we know that for Alex Vallejo, he's going to need a little bit time to be ready, because, like you say, never is the same to be in the hotel making your program than after to start to make the real trainings with the group.
Could I just talk a little bit about the weekend? And one of the most positive aspects of it, it kind of showed the strength in depth you have in your squad, didn't it? That you were able to leave some very key players. I'm thinking your likes of Fraser Campbell and Pieper on the bench until late in the game. And those players who came in for them were able to do such a fantastic job. It shows the strength of squad that you actually have now at the club.
I think it's important to have, first of all, a lot of players involved, because in this season, it's going to be impossible to play consecutive all the games, because now we are in the last 2 games of this period of 7 consecutive or plays in 7 games in a row. But after the international break, it's going to come even harder period, playing 9 games in a row before the 1 week when we have the Boxing Days. So the thing is, like, we are going to need some freshness players during this period of games, and it was what we were trying to manage in the previous game. We know that every player have to be ready to help the team. And of course, you can be more ready to help your team when you are having the experience to do it before. So, for example, for Demico was the first time that he played in the first 11 of the team, something that can help him if we need him, or this weekend, or tomorrow, or in another moment, because he did before. And the same for every player. At the same time that we say with Campbell, we need to manage the minutes, because we know that he was the only striker that we had until today. But of course, Danny Ward is going to need a little bit of period of time to be ready to help the team too. So in some position, we have some players that we need to protect a little bit. But like I said a lot of times, sometimes the best that you can do to give the habit to the players to play is to play consecutive too. So to play in a row, sometimes help the players to have the habit to play in a row too. But at the same time, in the previous weekend, we try to give some freshness to the team.
But it shows the confidence you have in those players, such as D'Amico, who you're willing to give that opportunity to put them into the side because you believe they can do the job. That must give them great confidence.
I think you cannot have players in your squad that you don't trust on them. Like the most important thing for the coach is to have players that you can trust on them, and you can know that they can adapt to the team and they can help the team in any moment of the year, in any moment of the game too.
You mentioned after the game on Saturday, one of the pleasing aspects for you was the way the players were able to adapt to situations within the game. It's something you've spoken about quite a lot. How much of work do you put into that mental aspect of it? Because that's football intelligence, isn't it? That's the mental aspect of the game, not physical aspect.
For me, this is football. It's like never is the same to play football when you are winning. Never, and you have to maybe to protect one result. It's not the same when you are drawing, or it's not the same when you are losing the game. So you need to be every time. Maybe football players have to adapt to the context of the game, and it's something very important that the players start to use experience to can adapt to the different moment that the game is going to have. Because always the game is going to move you to some complicated moments. Not only the result is going to affect the context or the situation of the game. Sometimes you are going to have more moments when they are going to press more moments where you don't find the right passes to break the press. And in this moment, you need to work. You need to be prepared to beat any difficulty of the game. Sometimes the difficulty is because the opponent changed the shape. Sometimes the difficulty comes because the opponent changed the behavior. And sometimes the difficulty is because you don't feel enough fluently, and you don't feel the spaces, and you don't start to feel and to find the advantages that the opponent can give to you. So always we need to be ready to adapt, because football is adaptation. Every week, and even not only during the games, not only between the games, is during the same game too.
Can we talk about Janino Bacuna as well? I think one of the criticisms of his in the past has been that he's been quite a selfish player at times, maybe doing what's best for him and not necessarily the team at times on the field. But that doesn't seem to be the way, certainly wasn't the way when he came from the bench at the weekend. How much work have you had to put in with him on that side of his game?
I know that one of the strengths that we have to have as a team is to play collective, because football is one collective sport, and we need to use all the possibilities that we have. For me, every player needs to play well. Sometimes to play well, sometimes you need to drive more and trying to beat one player, because the 1v1 can be one advantage, not only for you, can be one advantage for the team. Sometimes after you drive, you are fixing opponents close to you, and some of the teammates are free in the sides. And the best solution for this type of situation is to find the free player, or you need to adapt to find the best solution depending about each situation. I think when you have a collective mind, a collective feeling of the game, it's easier, because you cannot be thinking in yourself. You can be thinking more in what is the best solution for the team. But this is something not only with Bacuna. For me, if you understand better the game, you can find easier the solutions. And after you have the technical level, not only to know what is the best solution, the technical level to find the best solution is to be able to do what you know that you have to do.
But have you had to put that work in with him to make him realize that?
But not only with him, it's a work with everyone, because if you want to break the press in the playing out, you need to work along with the players about the important, because sometimes we talk about the important to make control and pass, but sometimes it's important to drive the ball too. So it's like the key for me will be the understanding of the game situations, and to have players ready to adapt to every different situation that the game can appear. So I think it's not only one work of Bacuna, because sometimes the player may behave because they don't see another possibilities. And in the moment the players start to see new possibilities, they change the behaviors. What we have to try to do, and not only with Bacuna, with all the players, is to show different situations that the game can offer to them, trying to find the best solution. And after to make the execution of the best solution that they find. So sometimes the player makes some behaviors because they didn't watch another behavior and another possibilities.
So on to the next game, Bristol City, back-to-back home games coming up ahead of the international break. What do you make to Bristol City? They had a very good start to the season, but they've had a tough month.
We know that this year's championship is going to be like this. Like in 1 week, you can accumulate three defeats very easy. It's like in the moment you have 1 week when you are not playing with the, maybe not only when you don't play 100%, when you don't get maybe the good performance, or when you don't get results that you deserve more, you can accumulate. You can start to plus defeats in your games. So I think it's very important in this year to switch fast the mind from the previous weeks. And the situation that happened to Bristol can happen to any team in the league. They start strong because for me they are strong, They start well because for me they have a very good squad. They have many players working with the same squad together, not only from this year, from before. They have one clear identity with the new coach that started the last year, but he continued working with them. They have changed the shape, they have changed some of the ideas, and they are a strong team. And that's why for me, they start the season winning a lot of games. But now it's just to managing situation that can happen, not just to Bristol, can happen to all the teams. But for me, some of the results that they have in the last game didn't show the performance that they saw in the pitch. So it's a team that for us, we know that to get something positive in this game is going to demand the best of our team.
Thank you, Carlos. All the best tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Johnny. Ian, thanks for your patience, sir. The floor is yours.
Hi, Carlos. How are you?
Well, thank you very much.
Good. I'll start off with, you mentioned there about Bristol City. I mean, they started really well, 4 wins. And, you know, are you surprised that their form has dropped off so dramatically in the last week or 2 weeks?
I'm not surprised because I know that every game in Championship is so demanding. So I cannot be surprised with any of the results that we are watching in the every week that we are playing. So we know that any game in the Championship is easy, and this is something that we don't say just to say. For me, it is something that is total true. Then what I know is like they didn't win the games if they don't play well. For me, if they don't have a strong squad, they couldn't win the first games. So what shows is that now they are living one difficult period, but for me, they have possibilities to change this period. What we try to do is to continue trying to move them to continue in the dynamic that they are having, because what we want is to use our possibilities as a team, trying to beat them.
Is it the same for you, for example? I mean, you lost narrowly to Preston and Birmingham. You won the weekend at Millwall. If you win against Bristol City and if you win against Luton, suddenly it's 3 wins in a row. And from looking like you were going to be going into this international break, you know, worrying about the inconsistency of your team, you'd be looking at it thinking, right, we're in a good position going into possibly looking at a playoff place.
Well, we want to be looking always is in each game, because in the moment you are watching the previous game, just to be relaxed because you won, or to be very pessimistic because you lost, I think you are going to have the chances to face the next game. And the moment we are looking more than one game, for me, we are losing options to face the next game. So the only important thing in this league is, as soon as possible, recover from the previous game, and as soon as possible, prepare the next game. And the moment you think more in the past or more in the future, for me, we're making a mistake. So our only possibility have to be focused to prepare the next game in the best way. We know that we recovered yesterday and we only have 1 day to prepare the game. And what we are going to try to do is to prepare in the best way, and tomorrow try to show the best performance of the team, because only with our best performance, we can get something positive tomorrow.
Why are teams, or in all leagues, but in the Championship as well, why are they all so inconsistent this year?
For me, more than inconsistency is how difficult it is to keep your level in the higher level, and at the same time how difficult it is to adapt and to solve well the different possibilities that every team is going to is showing to us. So we never can think that we are going to face 2 similar games. Every game is totally different. It's like the other day we play versus one team who play in another total different shape and another identity, like for example Birmingham. But Birmingham was one team that played total opposite style of Preston. So every time you are going to face, every 2 or 3 days, different styles and different contexts and total different type of games. So I think it's not easy to be ready to adapt to all these scenarios, but at the same time, this is the challenge, to be ready to adapt to all the possibilities, because I think what we have to try to do is to use the experience that each game can give us without thinking the result, just to take the experience that how you need to compete every game and how you need to be ready to adapt to each game. So for me, it's not just inconsistency, it's like every game is different challenge and you need to be ready to adapt to these challenges.
Just a couple more. One question I put to Daniel Farker the other day, I'll put to you. Because of the number of games and the fact that the season is having to be condensed down, were you a little bit surprised that in your league and in all leagues in England, you haven't got the option of 5 substitutes like you had when you came back with Project Restart?
I think it's something that I was, before we started in the league, I was expecting to have the option to have the 5 subs, because I was thinking that was one rule closer to the new reality or the new situation that we have to face. But at the end, they decide to keep with the same rules that always. There is something positive too, because it's like you try to respect more the normal football. Then it's like you're going to have positive things of one thing and negative things of another thing. But one real thing is like we are going to play a lot of games in a row this year. This is something that didn't happen before in the championship. And it means that championship is going to be harder, because the number of games that you are going to have is going to need that you have the players very ready from the mind point of view, from the physical point of view, from all the point of views, players ready to face, play a lot of games in a row. And this is for me something that is not easy, something that we need to work. Not only Huddersfield, all the team is going to be focused on this situation, because it's a new challenge for football situation.
My last question, from this week onwards, we're going to go into another month-long lockdown in the country because of the coronavirus. Different to last time, because football is allowed to continue. So therefore, yourself and the players mentally will have something to fix on in terms of games coming up and training. But outside of the football environment, how are you going to keep your players mentally on a high or on the right note? Because obviously it can be very draining for people having to maybe not go out and obviously be locked down.
I think this situation is going to be a new challenge for all the society. Like this situation affects to all of us, being football player or don't be football player. At the same time, like you say, football is going to continue. At the same time, the students are going to continue, the teachers continue working, the hospital continue working, the people in the supermarket continue working. So there is one part of the society that have to continue making his jobs. Fortunately, we are in this group of part, and we can continue making the things that we like to do. But at the same time, we continue knowing that this is something hard as a society to lead this type of moments. What I hope is to, as fast as possible, we can recover the normal situation. And what I hope too is that these measures that the government is taking can help us as a country or as a people in the world to can help us to stop one situation that is not being easy for anyone in the world. So we have to have now the responsibility to continue doing our jobs. And at the same time, for me, we need to be, like I always say, very conscious that COVID is one problem that we have to face right now. We need to be very conscious about the dangers of this problem. We need to be very conscious about trying to protect all as a society between ourselves, trying to be very conscious of every behavior that we have, not as a football players, as a human beings, because we need to fight together, trying to solve one problem that is bigger than the football, that is trying to beat COVID.
Brilliant. Thank you for your time. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ian. Stephen, on to you, mate.
Hey, Carlos. Yeah, you've had 3 players on the score sheet on at the weekend, and there's more players getting goals. It's good to see the players sharing the goals around the team, isn't it? Yes,
always. I think as a team, for me, our performance in the game depends about the collective performance, and the collective performance came from the good individual performance of all the players. We are a team that we don't have any player that can, for me, give us the game. Our strength as a team is to give the best of everyone for the team. And give the best of everyone for the team is like our attack are going to start in the keeper, and our defense are going to start in the strikers. It means that every player can be involved in the goal. It means that every player is involved in the defense of the attack of the other team. A lot of time we are watching, for example, Fraser Campbell defending very close to our keeper and helping the team in some moments, and it's been key for the team. So for me, our spirit is like we are a team, that we need to be a team, that we need to help a lot between us, and we are going to depend of the quality performance to have a good results during the year.
Yeah, I think you saw how much the team is coming together. Every single player was involved in the first goal at the weekend. That must be really pleasing as a coach to see a move like that come together.
I think it's too pleased to see the team adapt to the different situation that the game demand you. So always is positive when I see the team defending better the set pieces. I'm really pleased when I see this. I'm really pleased when I see that the team is growing in some situation that we need to grow to win the game. At the same time, I am very happy when I see that the team recover the ball high and between 2 or 3 players solve one situation, because this is what the situation demand. And I am very pleased when I see that the player start the ball from the keeper and we create one chance and we score the chance that we create, touching the ball with 5, with 6, with 8, with 10, or with the play that the situation demand. So the most important for me, the understanding of the situation, and something that is not easy, is to have the calm enough to create the chances. And what I was watching the other day is that the team play with a little bit more calm to see when was the right moment to change the tempo and to go for the chance, or when was the right moment to keep giving the balance, to keep having the play with more simple passes and to put the ball on risk. So the most positive thing is to see the team trying to understand the situation and solve well the situation, but this is no easy. And if you did once, doesn't mean that you are going to do again. The challenge is to do again in different contexts versus different opponents versus different shapes. And this is football. That's why football never stops to challenge yourself.
Yeah, it's good to see nonetheless. And another thing is that the team spirit in the team, we've seen everyone seems to be getting along really well. And that's really important, isn't it?
For me, the most important thing, to have the spirit to help all the teammates need to feel that one teammate is going to be ready to support him if we have any mistake. And at the same time that every player find motivation in the fact to help the other ones. In the moment you start to feel more motivation to help your teammates, I think you are strong as a team.
Brilliant. Thanks, Carlos. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve. Leon?
Hello, Carlos. Are you well?
Hello.
You scored, your side scored quite a few goals late in games. And I was obviously the Birmingham game disappointing, but that must be a very good and encouraging sign for you. Your side are going strong at the end of games.
I think it's positive to have this mentality to kind of score at the end of the game, because of course we know that the fatigue affects at the end of the game, and you need to have good physical value or good mind conditions to face the game until the last moment. So always is positive to see that the team can have this mentality until the end. At the same time, so when the situation was complicated, the team don't give up. The team continue trusting the possibility that they have. But at the same time, it's positive to score the goal in any minute of the game, because I think as soon as you score the goals, as soon as you can unbalance the game, I think you can control and manage it better the game. But we need to be adapted to have the reaction when we don't score the goals in the options that we are creating during the game. And at the same time, this is positive if you only create the chances at the end. But for me, the key is just to have one team that is able to create chances during all the game. So this is what is our dream, and this is what we are working for, trying to create more chances than opponent, trying to reduce any opponent chance. It's a dream, but it's the challenge. At the same time, it's the aim that we have, and trying to create as many chances as we can. At the same time, we would like to score in the chances that we have. So more than important than the minutes, for me, the minutes show that the team have the personality to continue until the end of the games, facing and fighting for the game. And this is something positive, but what we want is to create chances during all the minutes of the game.
And just something, catching on what Stephen said, 7 different goal scorers in league games already this season. You must be delighted with that.
I think this is going to have to be one of our strengths, that to be the involvement of all the players in all the game situations, in attack and in defense. The last year, for example, Grant scored a lot of goals of this team. He was one of the most important scorers, but we don't have this player this year, so we need to find our strength in the collective behavior of the team.
Thank you, Carlos. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Finally, Rob, thanks for your patience, sir.
Carlos, there's a real appetite for football in this country. Do you think that football continuing during this difficult lockdown period will help many people at this time?
I hope it be like this, because if no, it doesn't make sense. What I hope is like, of course, we know that there are a lot of another jobs that are priority now in this situation. Without people working in the hospital, it's impossible, these things. Without people even making sacrifices, for example, in the schools, to continue having all the childs the possibility to receive the right education is something very important too. The people who is working, cleaning the people that is working as the policemen, the people that is working in the streets, helping in the streets, in the supermarket. So there are a lot of works that are key to can continue living that we live. And after we have another type of work that are totally different. Football is another different type of work. But what we have to try to do is like if we can help the people that is at home with the dream to see the team, or to have the one moment in the day that they can have that to see his or their team is going to play the game and they have expectation and we can help the people. This is fantastic, because for me, our only focus of our job is in the fans. Sometimes in our fans, and at the same time in the football fans, in the people that live football, in the people that is ready always to support the teams, is ready to follow the teams. Unfortunately, they are doing in the TV. We would like to have them in the stadiums, but now this is the moment that we need to fail, we need to live, we need to adapt. And I hope if we adapt as a group of humans, we are going to face better this uncomfortable moment for us.
Thank you, Carlos. All the best tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.